Spanish has two simple past tenses to express actions, events, or conditions in the past, el pretérito and the imperfecto. They are not interchangeable, but rather they fulfill different functions when telling a story or talking about an event in the past. The pretérito, to conjugate verbs in the pretérito. For example, the verb hablar, irregular AR verb, you take off the AR from the infinitive and you add the endings a, aste, o, amos, astes, aron. For ER verbs like the verb comer, take off the ER, yo comí, tú comiste, comió, comimos, comistes, comieron. For IR verbs like the verb vivir, take off the IR and add viví, viviste, vivió, vivimos, vivistes, vivieron. Notice that the nosotros form for AR verbs and for IR verbs are the same form as in the present tense. There are several verbs that are irregular in the preterite, and we learned a bunch of verbs that have irregular stems, and they also use a special set of irregular endings. As far as stem-changing verbs, stem-changing AR verbs don't change in the preterite, and ER stem-changing verbs don't change either in the preterite, but stem-changing IR verbs do change, but they only change in the third-person singular and third-person plural. To conjugate verbs in the imperfecto, for the verb hablar, take off the AR from the infinitive, add hablaba, hablabas, hablaba, hablábamos, hablabais, hablaban. For ER verbs like the verb comer, take off the ER, add comía, comías, comía, comíamos, comíais, comían. For the verb vivir, an example of an IR verb, take off the IR, add vivía, vivías, vivía, vivíamos, vivíais, vivían. There are no stem changes in the imperfect, and there are only three irregular verbs. The verb ir, which is iba, ibas, iba, ibamos, ibais, iban. The verb ver, which is veía, veías, veía, veíamos, veíais, veían. And the verb ser, which is era, eras, era, éramos, erais, eran. So those are the conjugations of the verbs in the pretérito and the imperfecto.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.